Welcome to the Scalpel of Truth, the podcast providing cutting insight on how to rise to the top in the medical aesthetics industry with your host, Lisa Krause, aka the Bitch'n Beautician. That's Lisa with an E, which stands for explicit, because in this surgical suite, she won't sugarcoat the truth, and yes, there will be some seriously salty language, not suitable for sensitive souls, children, nor pets. As a business consultant, Lisa shares the knowledge and lessons she's gleaned over 30 years in the industry. Time spent working directly with patients, managers, and med spa owners alike. Her practice growth strategies are sharp, her stories and wit sharper, and her panache for bringing the spice the sharpest. So buckle up, Bichachos. Lisa's about to slice and dice another episode of The Scalpel of Truth.
Hey there, all my gorgeous Bichachos. Welcome back to the Scalpel of Truth, where we slice through the bullshit and serve it up raw, unfiltered, and true about running a successful med spa. I'm your host, Lise, aka the Bitch'n Beautician, and today we're diving into a topic that hits close to home for everyone in this industry, and that is how you look. I said it, your appearance, your fashion choices, your whole damn vibe, it's all directly impacting your business. And it impacts your patients, and it also impacts your bottom line. So, today's episode is called Fashion Facelifts, how looking the part directly affects the bottom line of your practice. And if you're in the beauty industry game and not looking the part, you're not just missing the mark, you are shooting yourself in the fucking foot. So, brace yourself, because this one's gonna be raw. The offender of the offense is gonna be offended. So, let's get into why showing up polished isn't just a suggestion, it's a requirement. Here's the legal part I need to read. This podcast is presented solely for educational entertainment purposes. Guys, I'm just your beauty business bitch. I'm not a licensed therapist or an HR representative, nor am I a lawyer. This platform's used to share my experiences with what's made me a successful service provider, a manager, and a business consultant for those who I coach. Got it? Beautiful. Let's get real. Guys, the beauty industry is all about appearances. If you're telling a patient that you're an expert who's going to make them look their best, and you show up looking like you rolled out of bed or gave your fucking car an oil change, you're sending the wrong message. It's not just hypocritical, it is absolutely bad for business. So think about it. Would you trust a dentist with rotten teeth? Hell no, you wouldn't. If you can jump into that dental chair and tell him a thing or two about brushing and flossing, guess what? He's not the expert. Okay, so why would anyone trust a med spa professional who looks like they've never touched a skincare product in their life? We're not just in the business of selling treatments, guys. We're selling confidence. And that starts the moment a patient lays eyes on you. Your appearance is your first consultation. Before you even say a word, your patient is absolutely sizing you up. They're deciding if you're someone who knows what the hell they're talking about. And if you're not looking the part, they're going to make their mind up real quick. So let's hit this topic, aka uniform debate. It's a hot one, okay? Scrubs versus dress clothes, and why I think you need a lab coat if you're going to wear dress clothes. Let's break this down. Scrubs are not pajamas for grown-ups. They are a professional uniform that says, I am a trained medical aesthetic professional and not the janitor or some yo-ho that has walked in off the street. Don't get it twisted either. I'm waiting for all the people to come at me. Scrubs don't mean you're sloppy, okay? It is a way to elevate the way you look. It's clean, it's polished. It says I take my job seriously as a medical aesthetic professional. And if you're opting for scrubs, you need to keep them fitted and fresh. Those faded, ill-fitting, baggy scrubs, you want to save that shit for Netflix nights, not the med spa or the aesthetic clinic. Now, if you're one of those folks who loves to wear dress clothes, and hey, I get it, fashion's fun. And I absolutely love fashion. I'm obsessed. To me, if you're going to wear dress clothes, I think a lab coat should be a non-negotiable. I know some peeps are going to be all up at me, and I told you this was going to be raw. And this is just my unfiltered opinion because I've been doing this a real long time. I've talked to patients And I've talked to friends who have attended appointments at med spas. This is all this feedback. This is what we need. Nobody's talking about it because they don't think we need to talk about it, but we do. Why is this important? The reason is it solidifies your role as a medical aesthetic professional. The white lab coat, if you're wearing dress clothes, tells patients you're not just some chick or dude off the street. You're a licensed, credentialed badass who knows what the fuck they're talking about. It adds a layer of authority, and we all know that perception's reality. So I want to talk about getting our shit together when it comes to hair, nails, and hygiene. I already did an earlier episode on this. It was a rant-a-rooney called the Janky Nail Shack. So if you haven't heard that one, I encourage you to go back and listen to it. Also, like ladies and gents, if we've got long hair, we need to be tying that back. I can't stress this enough. Nobody wants your dangling hair in their face while you're injecting their lips or shooting and firing a laser. It isn't a shampoo commercial. You are in a med spa. We are all about maintaining a clinical and clean environment. So guys, again, the reason I'm touching on this, it's really important. I go into different med spas. I have two fucking eyes. I see exactly what people look like, what they're wearing, professing to be medical aesthetic experts. Okay? I'm a judgy bitch. We know this. But I'm telling you, your patients are judging you too. So let's talk about personal hygiene. You'd think that this is obvious, but it isn't. Showing up to work smelling like smoke a pack a day Steph or boozing it up Betty is not cool. And if you've got bad breath, you need to fix it. The problem is, this is a hard one to address. Most folks with terrible breath don't know they have terrible breath. And there's not much hinting around that you can do other than like throwing your arm around that person and saying, hey, I'm bored. Why don't we go brush your teeth? Like maybe have a little dish of mints in every treatment room and make it a part of your protocol that every staff member throws a little tiny mint in before you take a patient back because you're working in close quarters. And we got to be careful of chewing gum. I know I've touched on this historically as well. Chewing gum does not make you look like a professional. It can come off very valley girlish or like a cow chewing their cud. None of those two right there are great at all. So do whatever it takes to make sure that you're not breathing hungry breath or nasty dragon fire breath on your patients. When you're working close quarters, you can't smell like last night's tequila. No one cares how great your technique is. You're going to be judged. It is close quarters. Now let's talk about that manicure. I've touched on this, the Janky Nail Shack. We're working with our hands all day. We are pointing things out on digital assets, print collateral. You need to have manicured nails. We cannot have the crusty, dusty cuticles or chipped nail polish because it screams, I don't give a shit. Okay. Again, have that touch-up nail kit in the back. You're sending a message when you are selling beauty and self-care. Okay, let's touch on makeup. Skin and makeup. You got to practice what you preach. Here's a hot take, okay? You're selling skin services. Your skin needs to look good. It's like being a professional personal fitness trainer who's like 600 pounds and never lifted a weight. It's fucking hypocritical. And I'm not saying you need to look Instagram filtered or like a supermodel, but if you do suffer from acne, discoloration, anything else that's treatable, you need to treat it. Show your patients that you believe in what you're selling. Honestly, guys, I once had a patient, this was so awkward, tell me that she didn't trust the dermatologist that I was working for because he had a bunch of red vessels around his nose and some crazy ear hair and eyebrow hair. And she said, working in an establishment like this, you'd think that he would have had that taken care of. Let me just tell you, what the fuck do you say to that? Like, ma'am, I couldn't agree more. Funny you mention it. His appointment's scheduled at 4 p.m. today. Like, how embarrassing for all of us. You've got to practice what you preach. And patients will tell you. Some of them that are bold, depending on their personality type, they're going to tell you it straight. Let's talk about makeup. It's your choice. But let's be real, a little goes a long way to have you looking polished and put together. Even if it's just a little bit of mascara, some tinted lip gloss, and maybe some bronzer or a tinted SPF, lots of different options for makeup. I wear a full face of makeup, more makeup than most. That's just my choice. I love it. I love a little contour. You don't need to wear all the makeup you have in one sitting like I do, but Patients want to see that you know your shit. So a part of looking the part is owning your own beauty routine and having it dialed in. And please, please, please do your damn hair. If you can't be bothered to style your own hair, make sure that it's tied back or go see a stylist and say to them, I'm in the beauty industry. I need to look polished without having too much to do with my hair. So make it look good by cutting it into a style that's workable that I don't need to do much to it. And for the dudes that are tuning in, make sure that we are cleaned up in the neck hair line. Crazy long eyebrows, nose hairs, none of that, I'm pretty sure is coming into style or trending anytime soon. Listen, we're not in the car mechanic business, the call center business, the accounting business. We're in the beauty business. And that accounting part was for my friend Ryan, who is a fan favorite. He's my favorite accountant, and he is a med spa owner, and he gets treatments done, and he looks the part. So shout out Rye for being my favorite accountant. This means that people are judging us in our industry. They're judging us on our looks, whether we signed up for that or not, which I'm here to tell you, you did sign up for that getting into this industry. Is it fair? No. But is it the truth? Abso-fucking-lutely. You're being judged in this industry because you signed up to sell beauty. Your patients want to feel inspired when they walk into your clinic. They want to see that you live and breathe this shit because that makes them feel confident in choosing you as a service provider. If you're telling patients to use ingredient-rich, high-quality skincare, but you look like you haven't used a serum since 2012, you're losing credibility and you're losing patients and you're losing sales. It's hypocritical to preach self-care when you are not walking the walk. You can talk the talk all day, but patients are going to smell a fraud from a mile away. And the second they feel like you're not practicing what you preach, they're going to be looking to book their next Botox appointment elsewhere. Your appearance directly impacts your practice's reputation, brand, and revenue. If your patient feels like you don't look the part, they're more likely to go elsewhere. If you do look the part, they're going to listen to your recommendations, trust your expertise, and most importantly, spend their money, aka their luxury dollars, with you. You'll see being a walking example of this is going to result in making you the most effective marketing tool in your med spa. Showing up unpolished, unprofessional, downright lazy in your appearance is going to cost you. The cost is respect, credibility, and patience. And let's be clear, your patients likely know each other, a few of them anyways, and if they start to talk about your appearance and you looking like a hot mess, believe me, that's going to get around. You're either building your brand or tearing it down with every interaction. So the bottom line, babes, if you're in this industry, you need to look the part. There's no room for excuses. Show up like the beauty expert you claim to be. Rock those scrubs. Own that lab coat and set a style and let it reflect the quality of your practice. Your patients want to look and feel their best, and they are looking at you to set that standard and that example. You need to get your shit together so we can elevate this industry one polished professional look at a time. You've got this. You're an industry expert. And I am going to, before closing, touch on making sure that patients can identify you. I know that there's some coaches out there that don't mind if you don't wear a name tag. I don't know why you wouldn't want to wear a name tag on your scrubs or be able to be identified. It's kind of weird to me. It's a little crazy. It makes me think that if you do something wrong, you don't want somebody to be able to identify you as, oh, Susan was the one who sold me this, or Jason was the one who told me about this. You've got to wear a name tag. If you're not wearing a name tag, dudes, I'm so sorry. You know I love you. I'm calling you out. It's kind of unprofessional. And when I say kind of, I mean totally. Beauties, that is all I have for you for today's episode of the Scalpel of Truth. If you've been slacking on your style game, consider this your wake-up call. Don't be mad about this episode. Don't be mad about being called out. I didn't call you out by name. So if you're not just representing yourself, you need to represent your brand. You need to represent the clinic that you work for. You need to make it count. Okay, guys, keep looking amazing. You're a fucking industry expert. You need to look the part. If you don't like doing your hair and makeup every single day, and this is not in your blood, I invite you to find another line of work, okay? So, again, this was raw, a little bit all up in your face, but I'm telling you, it's going to affect your bottom line. So step up that style game. If you loved this episode, I would love you to share it with your team. If you find it difficult to talk to your team about this, and you got somebody who's a slack ass, not showing up like they look the part, send them to this. Let them listen to it. Let me tell them. I don't mind. I don't give a fuck. I love telling people shit they don't want to hear. Okay, until next time, this is Lise, aka the Bitch'n Beautician, signing off. I want you to stay sharp, focused, polished, and fabulous, and keep slaying this game. And then stay tuned for my fabulous VIP Badass Bichachos, because we've got some exclusive after-party content just for you.
Go away, just see things stay away.